Hi guys, and welcome to another episode. So yeah, here we are, Olafstead, just like I promised. But oh, what is this? Yes, no, we're not on Matt, we're on Tom. We're going to be seeing Tom's story. I really love the Tarnished Coast. It's probably my favourite place in all the game. I like it even more than Jade Sea. And I just felt it was probably time to switch up the story. So we will see the end of Matt's eventually. But yeah, I want to get on and do this. So let's have a quick recap and read about what's going on. So we're with Vec, if you remember, and Zandra's coming along too. So the knowledgeable Asura, where are we going and what's going on? Vec is extremely concerned about the Destroyers. His people were driven from their underground homes by these creatures. Now the Destroyers have taken over the central transfer chamber, the hub of the many magical Asura gates. He believes his fellow Asura, with their superior intellect, will come up with a viable plan to defeat the Destroyers. Finding them, however, will be a challenge. After their exodus from the depths, many of the Asura settled along the Tarnished Coast. If we can't find a functioning gate free of Destroyers, we'll be in for a long walk. I think that's quite weird actually, the way they mention that, because really early in the game, back in pre-Searing, and I think even in Factions, at the start of Factions and Nightfall as well, they actually give kind of a lore reason for the existence of map travel, as if it actually exists, and yet here we have a journal suggesting that no, it doesn't exist and everybody has to walk, which is quite odd. So it's in a very weird place at the moment. Some people say, oh yes, map travel definitely exists, look, there's these people talk about somebody who's invented it, blah 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 blah, and then you've got other people on the other hand saying, well no, it can't exist if the world's like this. If it really did exist, then you could argue, why would the Asura have ever invented the Asura Gate? So it's one of those quite contentious points at the moment. It wasn't very well done, I don't think, but yeah. So we're going to get going. What have we got? We've got our Black Moa chick as well, who's going to be coming along with us, and other random crap in the inventory. The Bison Cup we won, if you remember. I've still got these Lunar Fortunes. Do you know what? I really think I'm going to do like a competition for these. We'll see how that goes. We got a let's use that actually. Let's use the Demonic Summoning Stone. So we've got an Oni with us now. And yeah, we're in kind of these Doliac fields. If you look at the map, we've got to come somewhere down here. We're about halfway on the journey. Shit, I don't like how many Minotaurs are around here. No, move. Oh, that was not good. Everybody run. Run. You'll see, actually, I can run quite well. I've got a skill. I didn't show you me getting this on film, but this is dash. It makes you move 50% faster for 3 seconds. I'll explain why I have that eventually, but it's got something to do with the end of the journey. Vec, hurry up, come. Speaking of Minotaurs, actually, we have met Minotaurs before. These are a different breed of them, really. I think, oh no, these are actually Bison. These aren't Minotaurs. Oh no, there are Minotaurs with them. Minotaurs with the Bisons. We have met them before, of course. They were in the northern Shiver Peaks. I think they were in the southern Shiver Peaks as well. But back then, there wasn't really much information I wanted to give. But back when I started the Prophecies Let's Play, there was kind of a lot of things I could talk about, but I felt like I shouldn't, just because there was information we didn't know yet. Anyway, in the Eye of the North manuscripts, they actually give more information on the Minotaurs. I'm going to wipe. I can just tell I'm going to wipe. Tom doesn't have many good skills for his heroes either, so... but yeah, they actually gave more information about it, so while we're in this fight, I may as well just read it out. So, oh, well, that went terribly, didn't it? Sorry about that. I had to cut it. Basically, my text file, which I usually read these things out from, completely bugged out, so I couldn't read it. And then while I was setting it up, my team killed all the Minotaurs. I guess it's a good thing we didn't wipe. But okay, so here's what the manuscripts say about the Minotaurs. Okay, an old folk legend states that the only reason Doliacs were domesticated instead of Minotaurs is because Minotaurs would rather be beaten to death than obey a command. Doliacs, simply put, were less stubborn. Minotaurs are one of the oldest species in Tyria and are very much prized by the Norn for their warm, furry coats. They were once extremely populous throughout the Shiver Peaks, but now reside solely in the northern regions, where they have sheltered valleys and caves to make their homes. So there we go. It's quite cool actually that we had a big fight with them in an area with loads of Doliac here as well. I like these Doliac here, even like a little baby one. It's pretty cool the way they do this. I like Doliac overall, really. They're like the cows at the start of Factions, if you remember those, which just don't hurt you. They just kind of wander around the fields. Right, we want to go that way somehow, but we clearly can't go there, so let's head this way. So yeah, we'll have a lot of Bison and Minotaurs. I'm not quite sure whether the Minotaurs are supposed to be sort of the same species as Bison or what in this game. I mean, obviously Minotaurs are half man, half bulls from, what is it, Greek mythology, I think? And Bison have got really nothing to do with that, but you tend to find them all together in this game. So, look, there's some more Minotaurs over there. I haven't got a clue. There's not much information on Bisons as far as I can see. So yeah, even though we're not leaving the explorable area just yet, this is actually really the end of the Shiver Peaks. You'll see all the time in Guild Wars, the the transformation between regions is very, very rapid, and literally we'll be here on snow, and in about 2 seconds, once I've killed these guys, we'll be down in that forest. I love this forest, by the way. It's another. Do you remember when we're in that EOTN cave? When we were there and I said that it had all the, like, the really sloping floor, you kind of get that feeling here as well. This place feels steep. I kind of wish that the area over here with Long Eye's Ledge that we saw Peter go to all that time ago, I kind of wish that that was a little bit like what they do it here, because here the transformation is really cool. It's rapid, but it's cool. It's definitely pretty sweet. So you get these Wendigos as well. I mean, these must be related to... I just love the fur effects on these guys. I never noticed it before Let's Play in this game. Alright, come on. Just going to try and avoid as many of the groups here as possible. This is a lot of the areas in... Oh god. Yeah, a lot of the areas in the far Shiver Peaks are subject to a lot of wide-ranging kind of patrols. Which is cool, because, you know, it's all about the Norn and how the Norn love to hunt and stuff. And I like how they have the wildlife here acting like wildlife, you know, actually moving around, not just... They are essentially still picking daisies, just like you see in all MMOs, but they hide it quite well with the big, long, sort of sweeping patrols. I guess that's something that they did quite well in Guild Wars, but I've never really appreciated. I mean, in a lot of typical MMOs, I don't know. I tend to feel like a lot of the time it really is just enemies. They just wander in a small circle around from where they've spawned, you know, and you don't really see much else. In Guild Wars, you do see patrols happen quite a lot, and over big, long ranges. I mean, if you remember Anvil Rock, which was... Oh, Tom's never been there, of course, but Anvil Rock here. If you remember when we were on Peter, all over this area, there's so many big patrols, and they go a long, long way. It's annoying when you're vanquishing, but for immersion, I guess it's very cool. Okay, moving on. Speaking of caves with the Minotaurs and such, we actually come to another cave here. The second lesser known, shall we say, EOTN cave, just because it's so far away from all of the outposts around here. This is a place I rarely, if ever, come to. I mean, this area we're seeing here, really, it's the kind of place that you only come to, A, if you're vanquishing, or B, if it's your first time through. Any other time, if you want to do something in Varahar Fells, you're just going to leave from Olafstead. If you want to do something somewhere else, you're going to leave from an outpost we'll find here. And you never really have to come back to this cave. Which is fine by me, because the EOTN are so annoying. Look at all the damage they're doing. Ugh. You know what I was thinking about earlier, actually? A really cool idea that I can't wait to do in Guild Wars 2. I mean, these are giants, right? I can't wait. It just sounds cool to me to fight the EOTN as a Norn, just sort of giant versus giant. I mean, obviously the Norn aren't this big, but it's going to be pretty cool to be able to do stuff like that. I wonder what the EOTN are like in the second game. Because, you know, they've obviously changed a lot. They've obviously got a rich history, you know, what they were talking about with the big citadels, and how these guys are just savages who kind of have all these ruins of they were once a grand people. I wonder if over 250 years they've begun to make progress back to what they were like before. And I wonder what made them savages as well. I mean, will we see like that kind of storyline come through? We're going to learn what changed these people. Are they... Is it something to do with... I like to bring it always back to the Elder Dragons. Is it something to do with them? Maybe the EOTN were a proud people a long time ago, and the Elder Dragons just kind of came, destroyed their civilization, all that mysterious stuff happened, the true giants died, and then for some reason the Elder Dragons disappeared and went to sleep. Maybe, you know, eventually we'll be able to... The EOTN know more than they're letting off. Or perhaps they don't actually know anything, but we'll go to their ruins eventually and we'll find secrets in the ruins or something. Who knows? Right, anyway, so yeah, this is really the last mechanically explorable area in the far Shiver Peaks. We now go to, it's not actually the Tarnished Coast, but as far as the game's concerned, we're going to the Tarnished Coast. Pretty cool. So this will be the last Norn we meet.
Who sent you?
Who I can actually talk to, because I forgot about my bounty earlier, which is cool. At least, oh, there might be another Norn on the other side of the portal, actually.
Why are you here?
The only good enemy is a defeated enemy. Why don't you go make some good new enemies? I like how you talk. I'll do as you say. Okay, so the Verdant Cascades. Yay, no more horrible J pronunciations. And just look at that loading screen. This place, it's amazing. So good. Right, okay, so we're still in a cave, really. A very big one. Is there going to be a Norn here? We're at a res shrine. You'll notice the architecture of the res shrine has changed quite a lot. There's some weird pots. Oh no, there are no Norn here. So we meet some Asura. So while it was the Norn in the far Shiver Peaks who were giving us our bounties, now it's the Asura, and they're always crew members. I'll talk more about crews later, but with basically the way the Asura work, they form crews. Also, you see that shield? That's actually a unique type of skin called an Asura shield, which is a type of a weapon set you can eventually unlock. I think the largest scythe in the game is an Asuran scythe, and I never see players using it, and I don't know why. I like the Asura skins. Anyway, so, hello.
I'm busy.
I'm sure you're busy. Gracious, you startled me. I was looking over the plans for a scent cleaning aromatic. We Asura have very sensitive noses. It's hard to work here, what with all the smells from these monsters. Why don't you give us a hand and get rid of them and their stench? I'll even give you a little something to help in that task. Do you agree? Sure, I was going to do it anyway. So, a very contrived reason to start fighting monsters, but you know what, I guess it's better than no reason at all. We're going to be going all the way over here, so yeah, like I said, it's still quite a long walk. You kind of get a choice. Do you want to go that way down the cave or this way? I always come north. I don't know whether... It's definitely quicker in terms of distance, but in terms of the enemies you have to fight, I couldn't say. But there's a lot of interesting, cool things to see in this explorable area, as there are in a lot of the Tarnished Coast places, to be honest with you. One in particular is if we'd gone south, we would have found a Norn actually outside a dungeon, and that's like the last dungeon in the game, if you will. And if you consider it as such, it's kind of the last elite mission that was ever added to the game as well. A very interesting place. You only get access to it after you've completed the game. Before then, this Norn is just like, oh, I'm looking for a way to get inside, and she won't let you through. But yeah, we're going to be coming this way. Really, that's the only cool thing to see in like this whole chunk of the explorable area down there. There's a cool thing to see there and cool stuff pretty much the whole way along the northern path. But yeah. Let's see what we've got. Oh yes, Wind Riders. Yes. Okay, so I love the Tarnished Coast. Don't say much love the Wind Riders. They always come in huge packs. Do you remember these guys? We saw a lot of them in Prophecies. Haven't seen so many of them now. I mean, this is cool. This is what I like. Eye of the North is set in the main Tyrian continent. They expanded it like mad, for who knows what reason, since obviously in Guild Wars 2 they didn't have the time to develop all of that as playable landscape. But... you do get to see all of the old a lot of the old creatures again. Speaking of them, I've also got in my little notepad here, which hasn't bugged out this time, thank God, a little bit of information about the Wind Riders, because we have, over the Let's Play, this is all information we've heard before, but I doubt anybody really remembers it. I'll be honest, some of this even I'd forgotten about, like a particular quest we did in the Crystal Desert, if you remember that. So this is a brief summary of the Wind Riders. I'll try and read it out loud while walking. I'm going to miss something cool if I go that way, so I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to turn around. What was that little butterfly I just saw? Huh. Okay, right, so about the Wind Riders. Riders are unnatural floating beings that can be found throughout Tyria and in the Fissure of Woe. So that's a place we haven't seen yet. The ancient power-mad mage known as Sibitha is said to have unleashed the Riders within the Crystal Desert, implying that the Riders may originate from the mists, and have, I guess, spread out since then. Eurodyne has been conducting experiments on them ever since they appeared after the searing. So that was a guy in Ascalon by a giant crystal about here, and you could do a quest to do with him. I never got to show you that in the Let's Play, actually, if I think about it, because he is only available for Mesmer professions, that quest, if I remember correctly. Or at least it gives you some Mesmer skills for completing it, or Mesmer equipment. Anyway, Wind Riders seem to be attracted to locations of magic, like that crystal, as they can be found in locations which have either suffered from magical events, have bloodstones, or show magical qualities. So they're kind of these mysterious things that just kind of float around the world ever since being brought here from the mists, and they're drawn to unique places. So, like, I guess this is kind of a unique place. They're on a tree trunk over a really rapid running river. By the way, this river looks kind of crap. A lot of the water effects in Eye of the North are really good, but this one doesn't look so great. But yeah, these ones aren't too bad to kill because they kind of have a tendency to ball up. Look, where they're all on the bridge, they all just kind of ball at the end. If you've got a lot of AoE, which I think I do, I think I brought some henchmen which have got a fair amount. Yeah, I've got 2 elementalists, so you can kind of just blow them all off. There's actually a boss here, Wildem Wrathspew. I don't think that name's a reference to anything. I have realised since filming a couple of the episodes I've done already in Eye of the North that a few of the bosses that we've already fought have been references to Arenanet employees, but you know, that just happens all the time in this game. Most things you see are probably a reference, and it's really cool the way they do that. In Guild Wars 2 they don't do the references so much, it's not so in your face, it's a lot more serious, I guess, the story, if you will. You might have noticed this actually, the references have been ramping up more and more and more as more content came out for this game. Which I don't know, maybe that just kind of shows that Arenanet stopped caring so much about doing serious plots, or they just weren't so... I mean, the plots were serious. Look at Nightfall, that was a pretty serious storyline, but I don't know what I'm saying. The references definitely have got higher. Oh, another new enemy here, by the way, the Skelk. Yes, I think I have information on the Skelk. No, basically the Skelk, there's not like a big long paragraph of explanation about them, but essentially this area, this is the only explorable area in the entire game. For some reason, this area in all of Tyria, this tiny little section where you see the Skelk above the surface, and you see a lot of them above the surface. They're pretty much a race, we've not met quite a few of them, but there's a lot of races which kind of just dwell underground, and they love it underground, and that's the only place you find them. The Skelk, I think, is supposed to have a lot more pale skin when you meet them underground, which is a really cool effect. But yeah, you see them above ground here for some reason, who knows why. So there's a bridge here with Roal the Collector.
Here comes trouble.
I was wounded out in... Sorry, I got distracted by what you just said there. I was wounded out in the field trying to catch up with my battle crew. It was those blasted Skelk. I wish I had a necklace of their claws. Here, Tall One, go out and find me 5 of their claws so I can make a trophy from their remains. Lovely. I love the way that the Asura dress, actually, thinking about that. He'd look pretty cool with like a Skelk claw necklace. So there's a bridge here. I know there's a really cool bridge in this explorable area, which I'm hoping to find. Basically, we might see him. I'll mention it now since there's a bridge here. There's actually a bridge troll. There's a troll. You don't see many trolls at all in Eye of the North, if any, I don't think, except for this one. None others spring to my mind. But there's a troll, you know, like the ones we found in Kryta all that time ago, on the bridge, and it's called the bridge troll, which is just hilarious. I loved it when I saw that guy. Just like so random, but it's brilliant. Of course, that's a reference to like children's tales. What's the famous one? Three Billy Goats Gruff, and similar tales like that. You know, they always have trolls guarding bridges and stuff. Sadly, he doesn't give you any riddles or anything. He just kind of sits there and tries to kill you. He's not dangerous or anything. It's just an amazing little thing they added in. Again, the same kind of thing I'm hoping that we'll see lots of in the sequel. Oh yeah, so of course, 25 enemies slain, we gain 15 Asura reputation now. Of course, this is the same as when we were before. Before we were getting Norn. Oh, we actually did get a Scout Claw. Before we were getting Norn, now we get different stuff. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I'm happy that we found this. I didn't think the boundaries were so far. Okay, so you see lots of dead, wandering Norn hunters. There's also a couple of Asuran troopers around here. We're at the border of a region of these guys. These guys live here. These are the Quetzal. They're a type of Tengu, and they're an extremely rare type of Tengu, and they're really cool. When I was playing factions, I really started to like the whole, you know, the Sinsali and the Angchu and stuff. But I think I like these guys. These are my favourite type of Tengu, I must say. They're really rare. You only find them in 2 explorable areas in the entire game. You find them here, where pretty much this entire bottom corner of this explorable area is owned by the Quetzal. Now, I've already killed all of those, so I can't show you. Damn. I think we're going to have to go into their territory to show. Oh, no, here you go. And they're green. They're green Tengu. How awesome is that? I mean, come on, these are like really exotic breed of Tengu, very rare, and they're green. These are so cool. I've talked at length about the Tengu before in this Let's Play, and about how I hope that you can play them in an expansion in Guild Wars 2. And if you can make green Tengu, that will just be badass. I mean, think of all the different colours of Tengu you can get. This notice says, these lands belong to the Quetzal. Trespassers will be killed and their bodies left at the edges of our lands as a reminder to all others of what fate awaits them should they violate our boundaries. Very antisocial. These are obviously not a friendly type of Tengu. Not that we've met many of those, but yeah, I mean, this is just brilliant. And you can go into their territory. As you saw, they were fighting those Skelk on the boundaries. They pretty much fight everything. You don't really learn much about them. They do have a full-blown village, though. Down here, let's go to it. Why not? I'll avoid them. They kind of go out and hunt in parties, as you can see there. And they're dangerous. I don't know if you saw, but I took quite a lot of damage. I don't know whether they're dangerous because of their builds particularly, or whether it's just the fact that they travel in such large numbers. But this is brilliant. You do find them in one other place, but I don't think they've got like their whole town, and they don't have sort of writing and warnings and stuff. There's no quests associated with them here either, as far as I'm aware. Nicholas the Traveller. See, now that I've introduced him to you, I can start talking to you about all the different things Nicholas has done. At one point, Nicholas the Traveller was here, and he did want you to get him some of their crests, some Quetzal crests. You see, some of them are called Quetzal Starks. Stark is German for strong. It's a little reference there. I don't know whether the other type... They're basically the warriors. I don't know whether the other types of Quetzal... like Quetzal Slies, Keens, yeah, they're probably not references to other languages, but yeah. So there's actually an Asura down here somehow. Purifier crew member. The Asura, I loved getting the bounties from the Asura in the Tarnished Coast, just because they, you'll see it more later, they all have these big, grand, ridiculous schemes to affect the world that they've come to, because obviously they lived underground for a long time, and now they've come here, they have all these plans. Like one of the crews is trying to bring down the sky, because they don't like how big and open it is on the surface. It's hilarious. They always have such contrived, crazy reasons to have you go out and fight things, and you can always just be like, yeah, right, I'll do it. It's great. So yeah, this is a little bit of their village here. You can see one of the little structures over there. I don't think that the architecture here is necessarily unique. I don't think Arenanet had the time to create unique models for all that. But it is cool they went out of the way to give these Tengu their own place. While I'm on the topic of Tengu, actually, do bear in mind what Talon was saying about... So Eye of the North came out, right, and then Talon starts talking about some great legend among the Tengu, about their race eventually ascending and going to live in the sky. And we've seen in a lot of news of Guild Wars 2, all of Sanctum K area, I think I've mentioned this in the Let's Play before, but all of this Sanctum K area is now all cordoned off, essentially. There's some kind of magical barrier going on there, and it's now called the Dominion of Winds. We heard about, if you also remember, around the Sanctum K area, there was that giant floating fortress, the Wizard's Tower. I'm going to leave this area now, guys. The Wizard's Tower, that's now been towed elsewhere. And one hint was given, I think Jeff Grubb said it in an interview. People don't ask about these things enough in interviews. They're all talking about the mechanics constantly, and you know, that's fine, but come on, I want more lore questions. But someone actually asked about the Wizard's Tower, and Jeff Grubb turned around and said, 2 words, Tengu City. So everybody kind of thinks they're all connected. The Dominion of Winds, the Tengu Cities, the Wizard's Tower has been moved there, and there's a giant floating Tengu City. And there was also hints about that being DLC at some point in the future. Just all kinds of crazy stuff going on with the Tengu. There's definitely a lot to go on. Will we see the Quetzal? I hope so. They're pretty cool. We don't know much about them at all. But they're green Tengu. They're green Tengu. I mean, what more do you want? Red Tengu? Yeah, I'd quite like more exotic types of Tengu. That'd be pretty cool. But they're just another tribe, and I guess if anything, it shows that the Tengu were still on Arenanet's mind when they made Eye of the North, and we could see more of them going into the future. Anyway, more Skelk.